Down, say you down. You gotta stand up and fight. Oh, you got to stand up. Oh, you fight.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Oh, you fight.
In person is so much more beautiful.
You know that's just stuff to me.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the world's dopest podcast, the Marley State of Mind podcast, down here at a Bunch of Bull Studios, as per usual. And this week, we got a special guest in the house tonight. What's going on, Ben?
Nothing much, Marley. How's it going?
Oh, man, not too bad, not too bad. We got you back again.
Yep.
I know last time we had you here, you're still in the stages of filming the damn lands. Now,
We are completely wrapped with filming. Production's done. And we are a little over a week away from the big premiere at the State Theater right here in Uniontown. So.
all right, man. No, that's exciting stuff. I know it's been a long road coming. At the time we had you guys here last time, you were still looking for some funding, still doing some things, still working out a lot of the script, and not quite close to the final touches. And now you sit here with us, a man completed. How does it feel to be at this stage of the process?
Sigh of relief, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
A lot of work. Script got finalized. Coop did a great job finding the people to cast in the roles. Top notch all the way. I couldn't ask for a better cast and crew on this. It would have went a lot worse without all those people, believe me.
Yeah, no, I understand that, man. It's important to have a good team behind you, especially I imagine, especially for a project of this magnitude. When you're shooting a whole film, the people that you have surrounding the project are probably that much more important to the process. Now, how long were you shooting in total? How long did the whole process take to get to where we are now?
Principal, we did the majority of our shooting end of May through June, so it took us about 6 weeks, but in reality, counting the 2 days we shot last year and another day, production was only 22 days, which also
wow.
blew my mind that
Yeah.
we got everything we needed, everything we wanted in the span of those 22 days. It was
That is pretty
unreal.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what about this process surprised you? Like the amount of effort that it took. What in this process surprised you the most about how much effort it took, or you didn't visualize it taking that as much effort as it did?
Honestly, there were factors I didn't even think of, like where we shot out at High 2 Lake. It was great because it gave the illusion you were out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Unfortunately, while we were filming, we had dogs, lawnmowers, trains, and
Right.
planes flying overhead, and we're like, oh wow, we actually got to stop.
The variables that you couldn't account for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That I didn't even see coming, and it was
Right.
just like, never really worked with a boom before, but
Yeah.
our sound guys were just like, hey, I'm hearing the plane right now. We're like, holy really?
Yeah.
And then, lawnmowers, chainsaws, just people doing their regular
Regular
day-to-day
life, yeah.
stuff. Yeah. and
How did you manage to work around those things?
Some of them it was okay. Like, planes and trains, you just got to wait about 10 minutes for that stuff to clear up.
Yeah.
And most of the people we encountered, they were nice. Like, you walk up to them, it's like, hate to ask, could you put it off for can you give us 2 hours to get these shots and you guys are good? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, no problem. Okay. So we were like, okay, thanks, we appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man. No, shout out to Harlan. Thank you for tapping in. Thanks for everybody that's tuned in right now, watching us. We're here with my man Ben right now, the director of Damn Lands. New film just got done shooting. You said it's in final cut right now.
Yep. Just tweaking a few things, making sure it's perfect for the 20th. It's gonna be something special. It's looking like
For sure. Now, for those who didn't get a chance to watch the last episode you were part of, can you give us an overview of what the film's about? The
All
premise,
right.
if you will.
I'll give you the basic bare bones. 6 kids are trying to go camping. lose their reservations, but they find a nice little patch of land that's out in the middle of nowhere. They're thinking this is perfect. Unfortunately, there's a family that lives on that land that really aren't all into trespassers too much, and there you can kind of fill in the horror beats of how it goes down.
Yeah.
So,
And this is a horror film, horror film thriller.
throwback to the 1980s slashers, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Was that a lot of your inspiration? Those 1980 slasher films?
Oh yeah, yeah. It started like Friday the 13th is my favorite like series of the slasher, and
Yeah,
just dawned on me, hey, I'm probably not seeing another Friday the 13th in my lifetime, so I just for fun, just started writing that. Then it just evolved into its own thing, and I'm like, okay. And as I'm writing, it's just like, oh yeah, that happened in that one, that happened in that one, and it's just became its own story, and it was
Right.
just like, here we go.
Now, I do recall from the last episode I had you on, you told me you had some film school experience and some things like that. Tell us a little bit about your background in film.
Main thing was, yeah, I went to the University of Pittsburgh from 2000 to 2004. My major, I don't even think they offer it anymore, called Film Studies, and I took technical aspects from the Pittsburgh filmmakers in Pittsburgh. And yeah, 2000, 2004, most of the stuff I learned, like, definitely outdated. Like, we were shooting on actual film,
Right.
no digital editing, no computer work. It was all done on a splicer, but hey, learned how to write a screenplay, learned how to story structure a screenplay, so got what I needed out of it. And plus, had to make short films then, so you learned how to direct people. And then on top of that, like a few years ago, was just having fun. It was just, well, I actually have time on my hands now with the jobs I had, so it was like, well, let's just do like low budget short films, have some fun, do some comedy stuff. And
Yeah.
then then I wrote this, and it was just like, well, do I put it in the pile with the rest, or do I actually do something with it? And it's like, well, when am I going to get a chance to do this again? So I did it, and now like 2-year process, and here we are,
Yeah.
1 week away.
2-year process, man. That's got to give you like mixed feelings about being to this point with it, right? Like a bittersweet thing. Like I know the biggest part of the journey is the travel, right? It's not always the destination. Sometimes it's the getting there. How do you feel in this moment that it is complete? Are you anxious for people to see the work? Are you nervous about people seeing the work?
I'm not nervous about seeing the work. Relief is a good word to describe how I'm feeling right
Yeah.
now, just because we had rough days shooting. We had, a few obstacles here and there, and it was just like, okay, how are we going to get this done? How are we going to get from A to B to C? And it was just like, we got it there. And like I said, I can't thank the cast and crew enough. Like, without them doing them, this would not have been pulled off, believe me.
Yeah. Now, was it tough finding a cast and crew? And if you could tell us about the cast and crew themselves a little bit.
Okay, now, the main cast in general, like the campers. AJ's playing George. He's like basically the alpha male of the group, the guy in charge. Bryn, she plays Chrissy, or George's girlfriend. She's like kind of the matriarch of the 6 of them. And Maya plays Debbie. She's kind of like the sweet, innocent, nice girl. And Rob plays her boyfriend, Mark, and he's got the good head on his shoulder. He's the guy looking around like something don't seem right here.
Right.
And then you have Kane, who plays Kane's the funny one, because whenever I originally wrote his character, Paul, Justin, who did the shooting and he's doing the editing, he's like, did you write him like this? I'm like, actually, I kind of wrote him to be an asshole, but Kane just had a natural charm about him. And it was just like, the charm went through, so he wasn't much of an asshole. He just created his own character out of it, and it still fit in the framework. And Sophia, she plays Lauren. Lauren is, she's the wild child out of the group. That's the best way to describe her. Anytime her and Paul are together, you really don't know what those two are going to do. Right. So they make for a wild ride. And no, those six, they were basically on, they were the ones that were literally on set just about every day with all of us. And they put in the work, they put in the effort. It was like, and this isn't spoiling too much because you see it in the trailer, like, Maya was spending like 12-hour days completely covered in blood, like tied to a chair, and I'm like, and you ask her, she's like, "Oh no, those were some of my favorite days. I got to sit down the whole time."
Yeah.
and the killers, Dave, of course, playing Papa. Talked about him last time. He brought his A game every day, and he's helped out a lot, like just showing me like, yeah, here's how you got to work around this, work around that. I'm like, okay. And
so a lot of these guys have like prior acting experiences.
Dave does, and Michelle, the person we cast as Mama, she does as well. Those two have like the most acting experience out of all of them. AJ's done a lot of short films. Maya and Bryn did a lot of theater work. Kane's been extras and stuff and things like that, and plus he did some theater work. Rob was mainly he loved doing the behind the scenes thing, but and same with Sophia, she loved doing the behind the scenes stuff, but it was just like, she reached out to me and it was just like, yeah, okay. I want to cast you as somebody, I just want to work with you, and boom. And then she just kept on picking up more hats as it was going. Like, she went actor, producer, she ran Slate, and then it was like, and all of them did that. Like, it was like we needed somebody to run Boom. One of them would run Boom, one of them would run Slate, and everybody just kept filling in, and it just made the process that much smoother because everybody that filled in had enough of a background. They knew what they were doing, or they'd pick it up quick, and you didn't have to worry about them. And as far as the rest of the family, the other three are played by either professional wrestlers or wrestlers in training, like Bree, who's playing Shorty. Hers is completely... didn't even start as a character. Like, she was just a fill-in for Mama because we didn't cast Mama yet, but she played Psycho really well. I'm like, okay, you're your own character. You're doing your own thing. And Dylan's playing Jumbo, like Friday the 13th influence. He would definitely be the Jason Voorhees out of all of them. Like, he's the big, muscular, tall guy. Like, he's the guy that can throw them all around and everything else. And
the silent killer.
The silent killer. He likes to grunt. And that's what shocked me too. Like, he was portraying like so much just with grunting and his body movement. And I'm like, Dylan, you're good. And and he loved calling himself One Take Dylan on the set because he did everything in one take, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. And Dennis played Sparky. He's let's just say he's the special one out of the whole family. Sure. Is the best way to describe that.
Yeah.
And as far as like the rest of the crew, like I said, Justin and Sophia did the editing on it. Justin, DP, he shot the whole thing. Has a hell of an eye for cinematography, man. Like, it was just like, okay, I can focus on the actors and the story. Not worried about his shots. I know his shots are going to look great the whole time. So.
Now, as far as character development goes, where did you draw inspiration for the characters?
The main inspiration I drew actually was...
I know you mentioned the Friday the 13th films.
They're archetypes there, but at the same time, I wanted to get away from the 90s slasher where, the archetype is everybody's an asshole. You hate all of these people. And it's like, I kind of like everybody to care about these people before they get slaughtered. You know what I mean?
You want the audience to be invested in these
exactly,
people.
and they portrayed them. Yeah, everybody liked all of them, and it was just like, no, this is so perfect. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was just like, and everybody has their arc, has their moment in it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, and there's just scenes like, and it's not. Truthfully, they're really not stereotypes either. They all brought their own personalities and touches. All the characters moved beyond a stereotype.
Right.
Like, and that's, I credit that to the actors, and the actors, they tell me no, it was the script, and I'm like, nah, yeah, whatever, get away from me. I don't want to hear it. It's yeah.
So now we watch films. A lot of us watch films, and we see director, producer, and all of these different things. Your job as a director, what does that truly mean to be a director of a film?
Uh, Turns out a lot. You got to be the one that keeps the production moving. You're the one that's got to have your eye on everything as it's going on around you. Continuity, making sure everything makes sense in shots. I found out I had to work on that a lot. I
Yeah.
really did. But no, the main thing is just to keep the process going and to keep everything moving, which whenever you're the one who put your money into it, it's really easy to keep that part of it, while at the same time, like, make time for everybody. Like, anytime anybody has a question or wants to talk to you about something, you go and you talk to them. Like, and main thing is, it's, yeah, you got to tell them what to do, but at the same time, you got to listen to them, because all of them actually have great ideas. Or, my first feature films, they could tell me something like, well, yeah, maybe do it this way, because this is like how most of the time it's done. It's like, never thought of doing that. We'll
Right.
try that. Or anytime there'd be like, hey, this line of dialogue isn't working for me. I'm like, change it to make it something you're comfortable with.
Right.
Like, and that was the other thing. Like, a lot of them were saying, like, he gave us like a lot of
Freedom.
leeway and a
Yeah.
lot of freedom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing was set in stone as far as like dialogue. Now, certain things they got to hit just to keep the story going and to keep the story in line.
Keep the consistency. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nah, for the most part, it was creative, collaborative effort, and that's
Yeah.
why I know. One thing I know for sure, this project was lightning in a bottle. I don't know if I could ever duplicate this again. So,
What do you think brought all these things together to make it so special? Maybe if you can point your hand on it, what do you think is the thing that made it lightning in a bottle as you describe it? Like what was the thing? Is the culmination of all the people that you had involved in it? The fact that everyone was on the same accord. Was it? I'm asking you a couple different questions at one time. Do you think it was easy to convey your vision to everyone in a way that they can bring it to life themselves?
I want to think so. At the same time, yeah, it was. No, it was a lot of camaraderie there, and it. I'll say it. A good chunk of it was pure luck that we found the right people to fill the right roles at the right time, and like I said, I can't, say enough. Like, Dave and Michelle, they're kind of the veterans. Like, they always made time to talk to the other members of the family, like whenever they were having questions or something
Yeah.
like that, and the campers, like, so short amount of time between pre-production and the casting and production, and those six did everything they could just to make sure they were clicking together. Like, they hung out, they spent time together, like, and it got easier as shooting went on, because they'd go from being on set all those hours, and then they'd go spend the time in the hotel room and did it and hung out even more, and they just all got along and all enjoyed each other, so that helped a lot.
I think you used a key word in there, camaraderie, right? Do you think the camaraderie of all of the actors and actresses, do you think that played a big part in creating that what you call lightning in a bottle?
You can see it on screen.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the chemistry. You can see, like, you'd never know everybody met each other like only a few weeks before we started shooting.
Right.
It was something else. Like, ooh, man.
Now, when you first embarked on this endeavor with this film, did you envision it going this smoothly?
No, no. I assumed I'd be driving myself nuts every day, like on the set and everything. And it's like, just even looking at the shooting schedule I laid out, I'm like, I'm gonna get this like the majority of this done in 19 days. There is no way that can happen. You know what I mean? Like most of them, like even low or high budget horror films, you at least give yourself 30 days at the
Right.
bare minimum. And this was done like even less time, and it just worked itself out that way. And I definitely got to give a shout out to Sarah and Delaney. They were the two makeup effects artists we had on this. You're gonna see their work on the screen, and your
Yeah.
mind's gonna be blown when you see what they did. Which, by the way, the opening of the film that we just shot after I talked to you the first time, it is up on YouTube right now, so you can watch the whole opening of the film, like the first two kills of it.
Give it a proper plug.
All right.
How can the people watch the trailers if they're interested in watching the trailers? How can the people get tickets for the premiere if they're interested in getting tickets in the premiere? How can they get a hold of you? What's the best way for people to do all these things?
Okay, the Damn Lands is the best way to get in touch with us in general. Is we are on Facebook and Instagram. The Damned Lambs film is the best way to do that. Sophia, that girl wears more hats than I did at the end of the day, but she takes care of the Instagram and Facebook accounts. So get in touch with her. That's also the best way to get ticket information. We also, Latasia, she helped me. She set up the IMDb page and she set up the website so you can get through. You can get information off the website as well. Those would be the best ways. And Justin has his own media company called Red Phoenix Media. That's where you can find the opening on YouTube. Red Phoenix Media on YouTube. You can go there and you can watch the full 4 minutes 40 seconds of the opening on that. And as far as trailers, yeah, it's got them up on Facebook, Instagram, and
YouTube.
a few. Not really YouTube. We're leaving it off of YouTube just so you can get more traction on the film itself and word of mouth.
Right.
But a lot of few behind the scenes. Plus on Facebook there is a lot of behind the scenes stuff on there. Nothing that gives away the plot, but just everybody in general.
Some cool footage of some things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're. You got to blow off some steam. Got to have fun behind the scenes. Like, got to
Yeah.
keep them going, and they managed to keep themselves going. So, but no, those are the main ones: Facebook, Instagram, website, and yeah, and with YouTube, it'd be Red Phoenix Media. Justin's a media company, and he actually also. It'd kill me if I didn't shout him out too. He has his own shop at Uniontown Mall, actually, that he works out of. So
Absolutely, yeah.
no,
Yeah, make sure you guys check out the Damn Lands on all of those platforms, and make sure you're able to tune in and see some of the things they have upcoming for you.
Mm-hmm. No, believe me, you're going to enjoy the ride on the 20th. And if you can't make it to the 20th, it's actually going to be shown on the 25th, 26th, and 27th at the Brownsville Drive-In.
Oh, very nice.
Yep, not sure what we're going to be paired with yet. That's kind of iffy. Talking to the owner, Bill, he's great. Not sure how it's going to go because it blew his mind, like how many October releases he was getting. He's like, I'm still showing it. I'm just not sure if I could squeeze you in with a nostalgic horror film or if
Right.
I'm putting you with one of the ones that are actually coming out. I'm like, either way is
It's
good.
all good, yeah. Right.
Either way, pair me with either of them.
So yeah, I was talking to my friend right before you came down, and he was interested in the idea and all of that stuff. Now, once you're done premiering on big screen, do you have any plans of like putting it on streaming or making it available through streaming somehow?
Yes, actually, as soon as we're done with the premieres, one of the guys, Wes, he's actually a screenwriter, producer, and director himself. Of course, he's friends with Dave, and Dave was just like, "Yeah, you got something small for him." It's like, yeah, we're looking for somebody to play a stoner clerk if he's interested. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. And he was talking like, he's saying, I got some contacts with some streaming services. So once we get past the premieres, we'll see what we can do on that end, which would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because right now, streaming is the end goal. Like I said, I'd love to do physical media, but I definitely need enough people involved to actually want to get on board with that to justify the cost for it. So down the road, yeah, it will be on physical too. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, we love to hear it. Yeah, Perp, make sure you go to the Damn Lands on the Instagram, on the Facebook, and you can go ahead and check the movie out. It's going to be premiering next week in Uniontown. So make sure you definitely do that. Appreciate you, Perp, for checking in with us. But yeah, man, no, we're excited to have you once again on the world's dopest podcast, the Molly State of Mind podcast, down here at the Bunch of Bull Studios. Now, this is your second time being with us. Like I said, the first time you talked to us, you're still in the process of getting everything together. Still looking for funding. Now, as far as funding goes for something like this, I know there might be someone with aspirations to take on a venture like this themselves in the future. Was it difficult to find funding for this, and was it? You don't have to give me a number, but is it an expensive process to put all this together?
it is. And as far as funding, like avenues we went through this time around, nothing. I had to finance it all myself.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was just end of the day, it had a nice high price tag. Now we got things for other one, like through other avenues, like, the Super 8 hotel we have in town. They discounted me as much as they could for the rooms for the actors and that had to stay there. And so they're getting a thank you. And Joby's Golf, it was just like, let's see, like they wouldn't give us money, but they gave us a tow truck for a morning that we could
nice.
use. So it was
Yeah.
like, boom, there you go. And, have a diner scene. Shindigs in Oliver Plaza. They just had their opening. Before they opened, we shot our diner scenes in there.
Yeah.
And the owner, Shayna, she ended up playing like the bartender in it. So she got a huge kick out of it. She loves horror movies too. But what you find out is like local businesses, they're not keen on kicking up money, but a few of them will help you out how they can. Like, yeah.
What other resources they may have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I won't say like going around everywhere and, looking for funding. It's not a waste of time because you never know.
You might get something else.
Exactly. And I am finding out there are ways. It's just, I kind of shot myself in the foot with that too, because it was just like, okay, started shooting in May. I got to have this out by Halloween. So I kind of pigeonholed myself with that. I only gave myself like maybe about 3 to 4 months to look for the funding.
Yeah.
Whereas most people, that's why it takes them like 2, 3 to 4 years to get one project out, because they actually do go through.
They're sourcing funds.
That's what they're doing mainly, is they're just going around finding
investors.
That's the best thing you can do. You can find investors or independent filmmaking. You can, especially in the Pittsburgh area, and found out through
They have
Fayette
different
TV.
grants and things like
They
that.
have
available?
grants and things, yeah, and again, like as we were looking to promote the movie, it was just like, boom, again. Sophia lives in Pittsburgh. She talked to the Pittsburgh Film Institute. They threw us up on all their social media free of charge just to get that. And
That's awesome.
yeah, plus she booked an interview with a local magazine to get an interview and get that out there too. And it's just like, best thing I can say is, even if it sounds obscure, whatever you got to do to get the name out there, get the brand out there. And that's another thing that surprised me so much. I wasn't just making a film. I was literally building a brand at the same time just to get the recognition so the film does do well.
Right. Get the right promotion behind the film.
Well, yeah, I mean, and shirt
Merchandise,
I'm wearing now, like Michelle, the woman who played Mama, she was like, "You need T-shirts." I'm like, okay. Next thing I know, she goes and buys T-shirts for us to sell, and I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not, and the other thing is, listen. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to be the boss. You got to dictate, but always listen, because you're gonna learn something new every day. Believe me, it's insane.
Now, for up and coming film creators and different creatives like that in that space, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face during the process of getting the film started?
The biggest challenges are literally time is an issue. Like
Time management.
time management is definitely an issue. The other thing is just obviously you're not going to be able to afford to film in a studio.
Yeah.
We were literally filming outdoors every day, so you had to deal with like what the weather
elements,
was going to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
The elements. Now we also, again, lightning in a bottle. So lucky, it only rained bad one day while we were filming, and it was one of those wait 2 to 3 hours. It stopped raining, and we got
Right.
to get the rest of the stuff in, and that was like the whole process. Like maybe we'd have like 5 minutes of rain here or there, and it was just boom. We could keep going. We got the days in, but no, it's the outside elements. It's the outside sounds, the outside noise.
Like you said, lighting's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the other reason why we got away from lighting, mostly because we got to be outside. We didn't have to worry about except when we shot at night.
Yeah.
And went through a lot of bug spray. Kane's got a few stories about the bug situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the outside elements. It's everything else going on around you, like arguing with the pizza guy on the phone, like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm trying to get people lunch.
Right.
Well, where are you at? I'm like, High 2 Lake in Fairchance. I don't know where that's at. Well, it's on High 2 Road, so I doubt that's going to help you.
Right.
It's
Well, and that's the other thing about whenever you're doing something like this, right? There's certain things that you have to uphold on your end because you're now an employer, right?
mm-hmm.
So like lunch and breaks and different things like that. You also have to be conscious of that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, you do. You can't. You try your best not to overwork anybody. Like every time, like the big thing is, it was always checking in. You guys okay? Do you need water? Do you need anything? And normally, and when we broke for lunch, it was normally just like a hour to 2 hour lunch break, just so everybody could just take their time and just decompress and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Because
Decompose sometimes, right? It's a horror film. Some of them had to.
oh yeah, there was a lot of decomposing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But no, it's no, time management's the big one. The elements, like, and just be prepared. It's something's gonna happen. You're never working in a perfect situation. No matter how much you think you got it set out, nothing is ever perfect. You make it as perfect as you can, and you just keep going from there.
Right. Now, did you guys have any issues while filming, like with people's schedule? Did you have those type of problems come into place where you were finding there was some conflict in schedules?
There was, but it was legitimate medical reason. But we got through that. That was legitimate medical reason. It wasn't from production or anything. It's just one of our actors found out they had to have surgery, and
Wow, yeah.
and it was just like, okay, yeah, we'll work around that and everything else. And
Should have just went to the hospital and made it a part of the. Put a hospital scene in there. Throw them out the bed. Throw somebody else in there.
yeah, but
No.
but no, and it was and that was early on in shooting. They found out about this, and it was just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they told me immediately, and it's like, okay, we'll figure out how to work around this. And
That's good. Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, I'm going to miss these days, but I'll be back for the tail end. And I'm like, okay, we can figure this out.
Right.
And we figured it out. We worked around it. And, yeah, it's, But no, scheduling, everybody was doing good. Like, I felt bad because Kane and Sophia, like, they literally with their shooting, they spent a whole week in Uniontown shooting, and it was just like, I look at Kane, I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry you had to spend your whole vacation in Uniontown. He's like, you're paying me to be on vacation and I'm
Yeah.
making a movie. I'm fine with it. And I'm like, okay, as long as you're cool with it.
Now, did you guys have any really wild moments on set or anything really unexpected happen? What were some of the wildest moments, most unexpected moments that happened on set?
There was a few hiccups. Yeah, it was had a scene involving a lighter. It was supposed to be completely empty. Turns out it wasn't, and butane kind of went all over the place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one. Uh, Ronnie, guy playing Big Al, who plays the tow truck driver. He wasn't allowed to drive the tow truck. Had the boss's son and a regular driver there that were going to take care of that stuff. And Ronnie is sitting there, and we're like, yeah, Ronnie, whatever you do, don't start it, don't do anything. And Ronnie was just like, okay, no problem. And we're going through the scene. We're filming on the outside, like through the sides. Next thing we know, Ronnie's like, he starts up a tow truck, pops it in gear.
Oh, wow.
Me, Justin, and Coop just look at him like, Ronnie, no. He's like, I wasn't going to go anywhere. And I'm like, oh, man. And
Now, is the worry for that is like insurance purposes, liability, different things like that?
yeah, especially when you're using somebody else's equipment. That's a big deal with it. Like, I mean, even for the premiere at the State Theater, I had to take out an insurance policy on it for an event. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, but that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't that much of a pain. That's why I like how the Brownsville Drive-In worked out. It's like, hey, I'm just showing your movie.
Yeah.
You're not responsible for any of it. And I'm like, I like it even more. It's all good.
Now, did you get more local support than what you expected?
Yeah, surprisingly, like
Like
Alan.
as far as the venues and things like that are concerned?
Yeah, out at High 2, it was great. Alan was very open to having us there. Of course, I paid him every day we were there, but no, Alan was great.
Yeah.
He gave us a place to shoot for the majority of the movie. Fair Chance Tobacco owner, again, very open, didn't charge me. It was just like, boom, got our scene done there in the morning, and that was really good. And on top of that, you had out at Shindigs, like, Shayna literally opened the doors, and it was just like, move whatever you want, do whatever you want. And it's like, okay, we're good on that. And just the community in general, like, promote it, had a booth out at the county fair, and we were just having people going over like, what's this? Nobody's seen anything like this, because we got the masks, you got the poster, we got barbed wire strung up all over the place, and people were generally excited for it. So that's been the majority of the feedback I've been getting, is just
Excitement.
it's excitement. People want to see this, and it's like, and after watching the rough cut, I'm just like, dude, we got something special. This is not going to disappoint anybody.
Now that you watched the rough cut, have you been able to view that with anyone else that was a part of the cast?
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no. The ones who've seen the rough cut are me, Sophia, and Justin, of course, because they're editing it, and Coop as another producer. So it's the four of us that have seen the rough cut, and we talked about, like, maybe we could show it before the premiere, but it's like, nah, there ain't enough time, and
Yeah.
got to keep the people at the State Theater as happy as possible. And anytime, like, any of the actors are saying, like, they feel nervous or this or that, and it's just like, you guys got nothing to worry about. You
Yeah.
guys brought your A game every day on set, and it shows in the movie.
Now, how does the finished product compare to your vision that you had in mind whenever this first started?
The majority of it is there. Like, that's what shocked me the most. There was a lot of compromises. There was a lot of things you have to juggle around because you find out maybe, again, independent, you might not have the resources. You got to kind of work around this or work around that. And we worked around all of it really well.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Is it pretty close to your vision?
read the script that you can follow along with the script. Like, it's that close.
Yeah.
Now, there's a few things that got changed around. You know, lines of dialogue got changed around.
Sure.
Had to cut a few scenes. Had to, you know, just standard stuff.
Time restraint things like that. Yeah.
Well, that was the other thing. Like, as they were editing, they were like, "Hey, Ben, the way we're laying it out right now, we're kind of close to 2 hours." I'm like, "You're kidding." But then luckily it was just like, "Oh, final film's going to be between an hour 30, hour 35, which is that sweet spot exactly where I wanted it." And it's like perfect. It's everything I wanted in there. Made it in some capacity, and it looks great. And but no, there's always going to be compromise.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next. Was there anything that you had to compromise with the final product that you really wish would have been able to been played out in the final product?
You know what? The major story beats were there, so it didn't bother me. I understood why we maybe had to trim this or trim that or add this or do it that way instead. But no, the major story beats were there. The scenes I wanted that really played out were in there, and some of my favorite scenes that turned out to be in the movie were just letting the actors improv and have fun with it, and we got some great scenes out of it. It was like,
yeah. Was there any moments on set of when they were improvising where you were like, "Man, I can't believe that you guys brought this to life"? Was there any moments, or was there a big moment for you where that happened, without giving us too much or not giving anything away?
it was honestly what it came down to was, again, towards the finale, a few things had to be changed around because of time and everything else. And it was just like, boom, okay, can't do it this way. Or, you know, we did the best to have the best props we could, but it was like we could only show this for so long before it looks bad, so we had to work with that. And I'm never writing in a scene where a knife is sticking out of somebody's back again. But no, and had to deal with like blood on the floor and everything else. But not basically, you're working limitations actually lead to great improvisation.
Okay.
But no, one of the scenes that is still in there, which I'm happy with, like, just let the three girls improvise a scene while Kane's trying to set up a canopy in the background. Wasn't written at all. Wasn't anything like that. But as I was working with these actors, you know, we were 2 weeks in, and I'm like, I really like what they're doing. Let's, you know, we got some time, and we got some time in the afternoon. You know, I gave them the heads up like the day before, and I'm like, you guys just, I'm gonna let you three have fun tomorrow, and Kane, have fun setting up the canopy in the background. Like, and it was just, all of it was mixing well together, and some of the stuff about half of it didn't make it in just because of the cuts and everything else and continuity, but some of the stuff they were coming up with, and it was just like, oh God, you said that, now let's canon. Because it was just like, one of them made the comment was, oh, is his cousin out of prison yet? And I'm thinking, like, I love it, but now that's canon. He's got a cousin in prison now. Okay,
now you got to play into the story. Now, Ben, if I wanted to take on a project and I was looking to write a script, what would be the best advice you can give me on starting a script, or what would be the best approach for me to write a script?
It's different for everybody. Easiest way to start is just start with your basic idea, like the basic premise, the basic story you want to tell, and that applies to any genre. And then from there, you can just start branching off, like, okay, there's my general idea. Then you find out, you start getting ideas in your head. Well, this'll work, that'll work, and oh, this is something that'll work with that idea. You know what I mean? You keep building to the main idea, but then you branch off and you find all these other things that you can put in there. And like I said, script is basic structure, but one that works for me best is the 3-act structure. First act 30 minutes, middle 60 minutes, and then 30-minute third act. So it's best to just do it like that, and just basically to organize. And say you're writing a thriller, you want to be building tension the whole time throughout all the first 2 acts. That way, when the third act hits, it's like hitting the audience in the face, because you spent 2 acts building to it, as well as fleshing out, building character. But I can't, and that's the other thing I can't emphasize enough. You gotta build up the characters within the story. And the other thing is, while you're writing it, always keep in mind you're writing a film. Show, not tell, as much as possible.
Right.
Always have movements over dialogue, which sucks because I like writing dialogue, but no, start with your basic premise, basic idea, and most of the stuff you write down you're probably not going to use, but it's there for you, and it's just like
in case you might need it.
In case you need it, or who knows, maybe one of the things you branched off to could become something else down the road.
Right. It might turn into its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I had no intentions of writing a sequel when I started this. It was like, let me survive this first, and then as we were filming, it was just like, working around everybody, and it was just like how it was playing out. It was just like, okay, no, that'll work. And of course, one of the guys, just semi-joking, semi-truthful, he's like, for the sequel, I want a puppy. You want a puppy? Yeah. Okay. And I want to talk to it in Spanish. Do you know Spanish? No, but you do. And I'm like, okay, we can work with that.
Yeah. Well, no, that's interesting. So he already alluded to the fact that there might very well be a sequel, which is something I was going to ask you a little bit later on down the line, but not necessarily a sequel. Now, after you took on an endeavor like this, which was very time-consuming, a lot of financial consumption for you, a lot of effort on your behalf to get this done. Do you still have aspirations to do another project after this?
Now I do. Yeah, that's the funny part. Like, it was arduous. It was a grind, but no, I'd love to do another one. Like I said, the sequel just started coming to me, and writing's always my favorite part of this process. So I've kind of gotten back into the swing of things of writing, and I'm enjoying writing, and I'm sharing it with certain people from the cast and crew, and they're digging it. So yeah, and plus Aaron, he was just like even back whenever we were in pre-production, he's like, I got these ideas, man. He's telling me this idea, that idea, and I'm like, they're great ideas. I'm like, Coop, none of them are like a 90-minute movie, buddy. There's not enough meat on the bone for that. And I don't forget, he's like, well, you didn't put in the dialogue yet. I'm like, I'm not going to write, you can't write enough dialogue to turn a 20-minute story into a 90-minute story, but it just don't work like that. And then I'm just like, okay, how about this? We can do an anthology out of it, because those ideas were great. So that's in the works too. That's the other thing. And he's like, and Aaron doesn't know how to write a screenplay, but he's mapping out those 3 stories we're going to tell. And I'm like, that's no problem. While I'm writing the sequel, I can write the connective tissue to bring them all together.
That's cool. That'll be real cool.
That's something I'm looking forward to. Plus, I'm thinking, and that's not set in stone. This is a long way from being set in stone, but it's like, for me, I found out I do like directing, but it's a means to an end. Right. I write it, and as I'm directing, I can put what I wrote on screen.
Right.
So with the anthology, I'm thinking about, and this is of course funding and everything. There is a lot of talented people, like around this area in general. It's like it'll take a lot of vetting, but screw it. Find 3 young directors that are looking to just get their name on something. Let them take care of the productions on the 3 shorts. You know what I mean, for the anthology. Let
That's a good
them
idea.
do it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Let them get their feet wet, and I'll be I'll still be there on set, but I'd definitely be more producer, or if they're having problems with something, boom, yeah, do
You
it
can
like
fill
that.
in.
Plus it gives them a chance, like I won't have to dictate who they hire or who they cast. It's like it's
their
their
baby.
it's their project,
Yeah,
it's their baby.
Yeah.
Work with people. The only advice I'd give them is work with people you like and you can work with, but work with people you can trust that you know are going to listen to you and that'll get the job done.
They're going to hold up their end of the bargain.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking as far as that anthology. And like I said, looking back, I did set up for the sequel, which I'm working on now, and I set up for a prequel.
That's cool, yeah.
It's created. I basically created a franchise and didn't even think about it.
Right.
It's insane. Like, just how it's branching out. It's
more than what you'd imagine it could be.
Plus, I'll look for any excuse to work with the majority of these people again. It would
Right.
be great. Like, but they're moving on to bigger, better things as well. Like AJ, who's playing George, he's been acting in a few short films since we
Oh,
wrapped.
very nice, yeah.
Yeah, AJ, dude, you see him on screen, you see leading man all over him. Believe me, he can adapt to any role. He was the absolute professional on set, like all the time, and always working, and Kane's comedic timing is off the freaking chart.
Well, and that also helps in cross promotion as well, right? Because the more popularity these guys gain in the film industry, and the more they get their name out there, the more promotion it does for the Damn Lands, the project itself. Because now these guys are garnishing attention, and people are going to want to see more things that they're a part of.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a win-win for all parties involved, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one more time, tell the people how can they find the trailers or some of the clips if they want to get a preview before they go to the theater and check it out live. What websites or what social media sites can they check out?
Okay, the trailers and ticket information is up on our Facebook and Instagram, the Damn Lands Film. And there's also a website with that information, thedamnlands.com. And as far as trailers, our trailers are up on all 3 of those as well. And on YouTube, under Red Phoenix Media, we have the opening of the film up there, so you can preview that before. And main thing I've been getting is the other thing. It's been little kids and like teenage girls that are showing the most interest and like wanting to see it, like, and the parents just look at me. It's just like, should I take my kids to see this? And I'm like, watch the trailers online. Now you can watch the opening. You watch that stuff, you get a good idea of what's in there, and you can pick it up from there. You know what I mean?
Now, were you able to rate this? Have you? How does that process work?
I am not turning that into the MPA. No. I'll take the not rated. I'd rather have it not rated because, quite frankly, I love the film as it is.
Yeah.
And just to get a rating, I don't want the MPA to go, no, cut that. You got to cut this. You got to cut that. I'm like,
is that a part of the rating process? They look over the movie and they find things that make it suitable for whatever rating they decide to give it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or the rating you want. Like, I know in the 80s, like, the MPAA, they thought they gave the original Friday the 13th so much leeway. So every time after that, it was like, they had to keep sending it back because just to get the R, they wanted to get, like, every Friday the 13th sequel afterward. They wanted to get, it was like, automatic. You're getting an X unless you cut this, and this. And every time it just kept getting worse and worse. And that's why they just had to keep cutting. I think the record was part 7, and I'm sure I'll be corrected on this. They had to go through the MPAA 9 times and had to make 9 different cuts just to get it to an R rating.
Wow. That's
so
insane.
I'd rather not go through that, and I'd rather just leave it at not rated. Do what you got to do.
So, but it's been gaining now. For the promo for this, how's the interest level been from people that you guys had a chance to actually have, face to face with?
Face to face, initially, like I said, whenever we did the fair, it was really good interaction. Everybody was generally interested, and then when they found out what we were doing, then it got to be more and more, and even people who hated horror movies, once they heard the story, they were just like, well, we hate horror movies, but we love the fact that you guys are local and doing this, so we're buying tickets just to support you. We're like, we'll take it, you know?
Yeah.
And as we're getting closer, like, Michelle actually turned me on to this, where the movie itself is gaining traction on IMDb, and she's like, remember, this is completely opposite. The lower the score you have as far as, like, interest level, the more traction it's getting. I'm like, okay. And I'm like,
That's
well,
an
it
odd
helps.
take, huh?
Yeah. She's like, and I'm like, well, it helps that you're tracking in the right way and you're a part of the film. She's like, and it's doing good for the film. And I'm like, I am not arguing.
Right. Right. So now where can everyone view it? What dates, what times, and what's the best way for them to get tickets for all of these showings?
Okay. The main premiere will be in the State Theater in Uniontown, PA. 3 o'clock is good. Maybe be there a little earlier because the red carpet affair is going to be going on, and people will be start getting let in around 3 o'clock. We'll show it at 4, and that'll be at State Theater, October 20th at 3 p.m. And then on October 25th, 26th, and 27th, it will be shown at the Brownsville Drive-In. Big drive-in experience, their October experience. Not only could you be there in your cars, but he sells spots around bonfires to sit in front of the screen and watch it that way. And then from there, we'll just keep it posted. Like after this premiere is done, I can start looking into other venues, just, local theaters around the area in general, saying, hey, you want to throw this up in there, you know what I mean? And take it from there. So we'll still keep that information going and running through, like on the website or Instagram. Hopefully. We'll see how bad this pisses Sophia off. Like, trying to get other venues to show it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we certainly would be tuned in down here at a Bunch of Bull Studios, Marley State of Mind podcast. You have our support. We're looking forward to checking out the premiere and seeing the final cut, man.
Nah, believe me, you're going to enjoy this one.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. Everything I've seen so far looks amazing. We got a chance to go on set with you guys and see some of the stuff that you guys are doing live. And it's very impressive, the approach and how professional everyone that's a part of this is. And I can tell just why, even being on set for the short amount of time we were, just why you guys were able to have so much success in getting this thing done in the amount of time that you wanted to get it done. So, congratulations on that. Kudos to you, sir.
Thanks, Marley. I appreciate being here, man. It's always a good time.
Absolutely. No, we appreciate you joining us every time. And anytime you have anything going on, feel free to let us know. We'll love to help you promote it and push it. But until then, man, we'll see you at the premiere.
Sounds good.
For sure. And for the rest of you guys, we'll be back next Saturday for another episode of Marley State of Mind podcast, where we'll have another special guest for you. Make sure you guys support these guys, man. The Damn Lands film coming to a theater near you, streaming near you. Make sure you guys keep your eyes peeled. Go to the Damn Lands website and check out everything that they have going on. But until then, man, you're on the world's dopest, and we're out of here. Peace.